In this class, we'll be looking into the algebraic table. So far, we've been using simplex matrix table. Let's also teach you what is algebraic table, so you can understand this in tandem with the simplex matrix table. Right. So algebraic table generally we use same concepts, but instead of matrix Gauss-Jordan elimination, we'll have our own procedure, and it's quite pretty simple when compared to matrix table, but it has its own difficulty as well. So let's focus on that. We'll be looking into two problems: the standard maximization case and standard minimization case. Then I'll give you two problems on the mixed constraints. One is in mixed constraints in maximization and mixed constraints in the minimization. So you can solve that using the concepts which you can learn in a couple of minutes later. And it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. So I repeat, in an exam, when a question is asked, like simplex is asked, uh, if any thing is mentioned like use only matrix table, you have to stick on with matrix table, or use only algebraic table, you have to stick on with only the algebraic table. Otherwise, if nothing is mentioned, you can free to choose any of these matrix or the algebraic tables up to you. But when mentioned, you have to stick on to the same method to solve it. Right? So this is probably in many operations research textbooks. They have this method than the matrix table. So let's dive in problem. So this is the problem which we asked in Cat 1. So let's solve that. Probably you can understand much more. Right. So objective function, which is to maximize the function, is equals to 40x plus 70y, and subjected to constraints are 8x plus 4y less than equals to 90, and 6x plus 12y less than equals to 75. So this is a standard maximization case where all the constraints are less than equals to constraint. And non-negativity restriction, x is greater than equals to 0 and y is greater than equals to 0. So this is the algebraic table, right? So understand that. As of now, we've been focusing on the matrix table, but now we'll be focusing into the algebraic table. Just a minute. All right. So this is typically the algebraic table. So I'll just repeat. So we had a break in between. So this is a maximization case where z equals to 40x plus 70y, and subjected to constraints 8x plus 4y less than equals to 90, and 6x plus 12y is less than equals to 75, and non-negativity restriction, which is x greater than equals to 0 and y greater than equals to 0. So this is typically the algebraic table. Right, so algebraic table, first, it's not iteration 0. This is something like which we construct initially, the simplex table. So this is algebraic simplex table. So a little different, like we have got a CJ. I'll talk about that a little later. Then this is very common, probably you know. So we have a basis, which is a set of basic variables. In this case, S1 and S2. X plus Ix and Y, then X1 and X2, and the right hand side coefficient. Right. Then Cj, which is the coefficient of S1 and S2. So we know that coefficient of X1 and X2 is 0. So to do so, like equation 2, which is the constraints, in order to convert this less than equals to constraint, we'll add a slack variable. So plus 1 S1. And in the next case, in equation number 3, in order to make it this less than equals to symbol into equals to, we'll add another slack variable called S2. So that is what is given: 8x plus 4y plus 1s1 0s2 equals to 90, and 6x plus 12y plus 0s1 plus 1 s, this actually is 2, 1s2 equals to 75, right? right? Then once you make up this thing, you can have to do it for z, which is 40x plus 70y plus 0s1 plus 0s2. So we don't have any artificial variable. So in this both maximization and minimization case, we'll only add zero slack variables, right? 0 into s1 plus 0 into s2. Once we make up that, so the coefficients of s1 and s2 is 0 in objective function. So we put it here, and so as the same thing gets put it here. So that's why I color code this two together so that you can understand much better. Then z, which is the bottom most row, and the next bottom most row is cj minus z, or you can even call this to be cb coefficients in order to have a differentiate between this and this, something like that, right? So this is the W, and we have got q, which is the minimum ratio. Actually, q or minimum ratio both are same. That's why we have got minimum ratio here, and that's it. So the procedure is fairly the same. Just like matrix W, so we have to solve this, but this is pretty simple. Like many people feel this to be pretty simple. I'll tell you the reason. So the condition for maximization is Cj minus z is less than equals to. So if all the values of Cj minus z less than equals to 0, when we have reached the optimal condition. So this value, if all the values are less than equals to 0, then it is an optimal condition for a maximization case. For a minimization case is the other way around. The all Cj minus z of all the values greater than equals to 0, then only it is called optimal condition. Let's take a look at that. So what this is iteration 0. So I just replicate, the table. So I can delete this particular thing. It's actually a minimum ratio, right? So first, what we do is from the equations z, which is 40x plus 70y, 0s1 and 0s2. So we'll substitute the coefficients here. It's also known as cost coefficients that we have seen during our theory class. Right, so I've just substitute here 40 for x, then 70 for y, and 0 for s1 and 0 for s2. That's all right. Then we have got this basic variable as s1 and s2. So since we don't have artificial variable, otherwise we'll have to include that as well. Luckily, in this case, in the maximization case, standard maximization case, we'll have s1 and s2, and the coefficients are given, which is this thing. So I just put it directly here. Then the constraints value. So 8 into x, so 8 into x, and 4 into y, 4 into y, then 1 into s1, then 0 into s2 equals to right hand side coefficient is 90. Right. Similarly, 6 this is equation 2, 6 x, 12 y, and 0 s1 and 1 s2 equals to 75. So this is typically the right hand side coefficient for equation 2, right? So in this case, this is pretty different. So kindly pay attention. In a matrix table, we'll be directly incorporating this particular thing here in terms of z. But in this case, we need to find z, which is nothing but 0 multiplied by 8 plus 0 multiplied by 6. I repeat, the Cj into x plus Cj into x of the second equation will be the value of z. I repeat, in this case, say let's take this particular value of z, which is nothing but 0 multiplied by 4 plus 0 multiplied by 12. So since both of them are 0, so we'll get 0 in all the factors, right? Something like that. Same way, it is 0 multiplied by 1 plus 0 multiplied by 0. That's 0. 0 multiplied by 0 plus 0 multiplied by 1. That's also 0. 0 multiplied by 90 plus 0 multiplied by 75 is also 0. Right? So something like that. Next case is Cj minus Cj. So we may not get this because we don't have anything coefficient here. Right? So Cj minus z, which is nothing but 40 minus 0 is 40. 70 minus 0 is 70, 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 0 is 0, right? So this is the initial setup. So this, we have not solved it. We just got this simplex table in terms of algebraic table later. Right, so now the iteration 1. So what we need to really emphasize on the fact that we just copy the same thing here it is, right? So what we need to find out is we need to find out the highest non-negative value that constitutes the key column. Remember the same procedure among the Cj minus Z. In the earlier case, we'll have the 0 Z row. In that, we need to find out the highest non-negative value in terms of constituting key column for a maximization case. So in this case, out of 40, 70, 0, 0, 0, the highest value is 70. So this will be our key column, right? So once you find out the key column, Bj, which is the right answer coefficient, that divided by the corresponding element in the key column, that will become the quotient or minimum ratio, right? So I repeat, to find out the minimum ratio, we divide the Bj by the corresponding key column row. So 90 divided by 4 is 22, 1 by 2, so 22.5. Next case is 75 divided by 12, which is nothing but 6, 1 by 4, right? So to select a key column, we need to find out the most non-negative value, or most, we can even call this to be a highest positive value. To avoid confusion, we take highest positive value. And in terms of selecting the key row, we need to find from the minimum ratio. In that case, we need to find out the least positive value, or least non-negative value, whatever might be. Right, non-negative value. Right? So yeah. So in this case, so this is yeah. So this is least positive value. That's why it is mentioned here. Right. So that corresponds to the key row. The point of intersection of the key column and key rows, already we have known that is pivot element, right? So this is the pivot element. So point of intersection of the key column to the key row is the pivot element, right? Next step is the procedure in the matrix table is probably the same. Like we used to divide the entire key row by pivot element, so that the pivot element becomes 1, right? So we divide row 2 by 12. So since 12 is a pivot element, so when we divide pivot element by pivot, that number will get the pivot element to be 1. So same way this gets repeated. So the entire row gets divided by 1. Right? So this is the same concept that we use in matrix table also. But in a matrix table, we'll be making all the elements, other elements than the pivot element in the key column to be 0. Right? So we use row wise operation to eliminate all the elements in the key column except the pivot element to become 0. So in algebraic table, we'll have a formula. The formula is that new number, which is to make that particular this column, all the elements in the column key column to be 0 is that, other than the pivot is that. So this number equals to, which is the replaceable number, equals to the old number or existing number minus the corresponding the key column multiplied by corresponding element in the key row divided by the pivot element. So that's the formula. Let's take a look at the example. So I have to do this for entire row. So I have to convert the S1 into such a way that this number becomes 0. The 4 becomes 0. So how do I do that? Is this is existing number is 8, which is, I'll just take a look at it. The existing number is 8. That minus the old number minus the corresponding key row. So this is the row. So we need to find out the corresponding key column. This particular column, which is 4, multiplied by its corresponding key row. So this is another row, which is this 4 into 6, which is basically the one that is adjacent to that, like which is in the key column, and which is the key row adjacent to that. It is selected, that is gets multiplied, divided by the pivot element. So for this case, I just repeat to make this element to become the factor, we take the original number minus, we'll take the multiplication in terms of the factors, that is in the key column, multiplied by its key row divided by the pivot element, right? So remember that we convert this pivot element by dividing everything by the pivot, I mean this key row by dividing it pivot element, but this operation, this formula holds good only if you do it prior to the conversion of the key row to make the pivot element 1. So I repeat, so we should not divide it by 1 since the operation is done here. So, but we need to make sure that this 12 is met, something like that. So when I put enter, it will become 6, right? I repeat for this. So in this case, it is 4 already existing number minus its corresponding element in the key column is also 4 multiplied by its corresponding element in the row, corresponding rows 12. This is also the pivot element divided by the pivot. So this will become 0. So remember how we made the 0 using this formula, right? So that's how it has become 0. So let's take a look at this, say for an example. So this existing number is 1 minus its corresponding values in the key column, which is 4. 4 multiplied by its corresponding row, which is 0, and divided by the pivot element. So this will become, that's how it becomes 1, and so on. Now we can even see this 90. I'll just let you know why we got this 965 here. It is 90, they already existing, minus its corresponding element in the key column is 4 multiplied by corresponding element in the key row, which is 75 divided by 12. So that will give us 65, right? So you repeat the procedure so that this will become 0, right? So once that is 0, now you know that this key column is an entering variable. So y is an entering variable, and this initial, here it is, S2 is a leaving variable. So S2 is a leaving variable. So S2 gets replaced by y. Not only that, the coefficient of y is also provided here. So initially we start with 0, 0. Then S2 becomes now y. So we substitute the 70 here. And then we did the procedure. So once you make this element to become 0, then we'll be finding out z value, which is nothing but 0 into 6 plus 70 into 1 by 2, which is nothing but 35. And you repeat the process. And finally, you have to minus Cj minus Z. Cj is here, minus Z is 35. 40 minus 35 is 5. And same way. And this directly becomes 0. Remember, this is the existing Z in the matrix table, right? So we'll have to do row 3 operation to make this to be 0. Understand? So in this case, it's as mathematically or it's automatically working. So you don't have to really have much problem. So it becomes 0. So which means that except the pivot element, so leave out this particular thing, except this pivot element, this becomes 0 and this becomes 0. So the iteration gets completed. Now let's take a look at Cj minus Z. We take Cj minus Z, which is 5, 0, 0, minus 5 into 5 by 6, minus 4, 3 by 7 into 1 by 2. So the most non-negative value, which is a positive value, is 5. So there's exists a 5, which is a non-negative value. So we need to do another iteration. So iteration number 2. In this case, the most non-negative value is 5. So this will become the key column. Bj, what you call minimum ratio is equals to Bj divided by the elements in the key column. So 65 divided by 6 is equals to 10 pi by 6. Then 6 1 by 4 divided by 1 by 5 is 12 1 by 2. So among this, the least positive number is 10 pi by 6. So that will become the key row. So key column is a most non-negative number, and key row is the least non-negative number. So the point of intersection of the key column and key row is the pivot element, right? So once that is done, next step is to make this pivot element to become 1 by dividing that pivot element in the entire row. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, 0 divided by 6 is 0, then 1 divided by 6 is 1 by 6, and minus 1 by 3 divided by 6 is the value, and 65 divided by 6 is 10 pi by 6. So we have done that. Next step is we need to make the other element to become 0. So how do we make this element to be 0? Was old number, which is 1 by 2, minus its corresponding key row, which is nothing but 6, multiplied by its corresponding the row is 6 actually, I beg your pardon, and its corresponding column, it is pretty much the same value, um, divided by the pivot element is 6, so that becomes 0. I repeat, first is old number minus its corresponding row in the key row, which is nothing but 6, and the column is the same value, and in that divided by the pivot element. Yeah, so that will become 0 here, right? Same way you repeat the procedure for all the other things, and finally what you do is, since x is here, so we'll put a coefficient of x here, so this will become 40 into 1 plus 0 into 70, so that's a z value, and 0 into 40 plus 1 into 70, this is 70, and 1 by 6 into 40 plus 0 into 70, this is 5 by 6. Then this value multiplied by 40 and 1 by 9 multiplied by 70. Remember this, I think I made it in fractions. So if you want to have it in a generic format, it is minus 0.083. So that's why it is showing as minus 0 or something. So I'll make it in numbers, it's minus 0.06. That multiplied by 40 plus 1 by 9 multiplied by 70. That's why you get 5 into 5 by 9. And same way you repeat the process. You find the value of z. Then Cj minus z value, 40 minus 40 is 0, 70 minus 70 is 0, 0 minus 5 by 6 is minus 5 by 6, 0 minus 5 by 9 is 5 into 5 by 9 is minus 5 into 5 by 9, and this will become minus 491 into 2 by 3. Right. So this is the value of W. In the value of Z, it is equals to minus of W. So Z, something like that, right? So, but we don't really take a look at that in much detail. All right, so in this case, you can see all the values are greater than, less than, equals to 0. So all are negative, and all of them, some of them are equal to 0. So which means we don't have any non-negative value. Hence, the iteration gets stopped. So do you understand? So now we have reached an optimal solution. So the optimal solution is x equals to 10 into 5 by 6. Then y equals to 5 by 6. So that's what given. In terms of decimal values, it is 10.83 and 0.83. Then z value equals to, we know that formula of the objective function is 40x and 70y. So 40 multiplied by 10 into 5 by 6 plus 70 multiplied by 5 by 6 equals to 491 2 by 3, which is nothing but 491.67. So this is what you get in CAT 1 exam. So that's the optimal solution. So this is algebraic simplex W. So remember that this is different from matrix simplex W. We also do another problem now. So this is a maximization case. Let's take a look at the minimization case. It's another problem. So this is also a problem that I've asked in the internal exam. Z equals to 24 plus 40y, subject to constraint 12x plus 16y greater than equals to 200, and 14x plus 24y greater than equals to 240, and x is greater than equals to 0 and y equal to greater than equals to 0 is a non-negativity restriction, right? So for a minimization case, we need to use either simplex method with simplex W with bigger method, or we used to face a simplex method. So whichever might be can use it. But in this case, we'll be using bigger method in algebraic simplex table, right? So the process remains the same. Initially, we construct this Cj values. Then for artificial variable, we'll take the positive m as a coefficient. So let's take a look at that. I repeat, this is the subjected to constraint, which is nothing but 12x plus 16y minus 1 into s1. So we subtract an artificial variable. I mean, we subtract a slack variable and add an artificial variable in a greater than equals to constraint. So that's how when you make it equals to 200, you need to subtract a slack variable and add an artificial variable. And same way, the next constraint 14x plus 24y minus 0 s1 minus 1 s2. So which means it's s2 is for equation 2 plus 0 t1 plus 1 t2 equals to 240. And remember, this is a minimization case. So we will be taking 24x plus 40y plus 0 s1 plus 0 s2. This is common for minimization and maximization. In a minimization case, we'll add the coefficient of the we'll add this artificial variable in the objective function with a positive coefficient, with a positive m. But if it is a maximization with mixed constraint, if it includes artificial variable, then we will be subtracting the artificial variable, but we'll multiply that subtraction of the artificial variable with a m, positive m coefficient, which is minus m into t. But as of now, for the standard minimization case, we'll be adding the artificial variable with a positive coefficient of that, which is m, capital M, which is a bigger number. So m, in this case, you can see the values are around 200, 240. So in three placeholders. So we make generally m to be 1000, or if you wanted to differentiate that to greater extent, you can even give this as 10,000. Differentiate that from the remaining thing. What happens if m is 100? So if you give accidentally m is 100, then this values are more than this, so we may not get a appropriate decision. That we'll be seeing in a couple of minutes later. So that's why you give big, it's a big m method. So m should be very big of all the coefficients in the simplex, I mean the linear programming formulated, right? So the same thing, the same procedure. So we'll give the z value coefficient, it is 24, 40, and 0, 0, and capital M and capital M. So in an artificial variable governed, so we will giving basis as t1 and t2, t1 and t2. So those are positive, surplus variables. So we have got this artificial variables. Then its coefficient is m is given here, and m is given here. So I can differentiate this so the color code can understand much better, right? Next, you put in this 12, 16, minus 1, 0, 1, then 0 equals to 200, and equation 2, 14, 24 minus 14, 24. Minus 0 plus 0 does not make any significance. You put 0, then minus 1, which is minus 1 here, and 0 and 1 here, and equals to 240, right? Then z value, which is nothing but 12 into m plus 14 into m. So 12m plus 14m is 26m, right? Then 16m plus 24m, which is nothing but 40m. Then minus m into, minus 1 into m plus 0 into m, so which is nothing but minus m. Same way, 0 into m plus minus 1 into m is minus m. So 1 into m, 0 into m is m. 0 into m plus 1 into m is m. So we have got z value. Then we subtract Cj with the z. So Cj minus z is 24 minus 26m. 40 minus, which is nothing but z is 40m. 40 minus 40m. And 0 minus m is m. So this is 0 minus of minus m, which is m. And 0 minus of minus m is m. And m minus m is 0. So here also m minus m is 0. So in this case, we have clearly noted down that. So very important condition in minimization cases, Cj minus z is greater than equals to 0. In a maximization case, all Cj minus z should be less than equals to 0, whereas in a minimization case, we'll be taking Cj minus Z greater than equals to 0, which is the optimal condition, right? Let's take a look at that. Let's come back to this quickly later. So I just copy the entire Cj value, which we have got it. And we need to find out the value of this. So we'll substitute m is equal to 1000, which is a very huge number. So 24 minus 26,000, which is nothing but 25,975 minus 25,975. And similarly 40 minus 40m, so which is nothing but minus the 39,960, and m is the positive values 1000, 0. So we need to find most negative number. Remember, in the maximization case, we'll be finding out the most positive number. In a minimization case, we'll be finding out the most negative number. So the most negative number is this, which corresponds to 40 minus 40m. So that will become our key column, right? So when I just hover over, so that will become our key column. So the entering variable is y, and we need to find out the key row to determine the leaving variable. So how do we find key rows? That we'll use minimum ratio, which is nothing but bj divided by the value in the key column. So 200 divided by 16 is equals to 12.5, which is 12 1 by 2, and 240 divided by 24, which is equals to exactly 10. So when we compare 12.5 and 10, so the least positive number is 10. So that will be our key row. So this will be our key row. So the point of intersection of the key column to the key row is the pivot element. So that's why we highlight that in orange color. So 24 here is the pivot element. So once you find pivot element, the next step is to make the pivot element to become 1. So how do we make pivot element to become 1? Is divide that pivot element by the corresponding value. So 24 here is the pivot element. So when you divide that by 24, you get pivot element to be 1. So we want not only divide that by that pivot element, so we divide the entire key row by the pivot element, right? So the values of the pivot element. So that is why it is 14 divided by 24 is 3 by 5. 14 divided by 24. 24 divided by 24 is 1, and 0 divided by 24 is 0, and minus 1 divided by 24 is minus 1 by 24, which is, if you make it in terms of decimal, you understand is minus something. Then 0 divided by 24 is 0, and 1 divided by 24 is 1 by 24 is approximately 0.00, something like that. Then 240 divided by 24 is 10, right? So this also becomes matter. And I repeat, the entire elements, a key row will be divided by the pivot element, so make it the division 1. And we also make the other elements in the key column to become 0. So instead of doing elementary row operation, like in the case of matrix method, we will be generally using a formula called old number equals to corresponding key row. So this is the old number minus the corresponding elements in the key column multiplied by the corresponding elements in the key row here divided by the pivot element. So 12 minus 16 into 14 divided by 24, that will become 12 itself. Like I just repeat, the old number minus its corresponding element in the key column multiplied by its corresponding element in the key row divided by the pivot element. So that will become 12, right? So this is what we generally find. This 2 by 3. I've got it here. So this will become 0 automatically. And once you repeat the procedure till bj, so 200 now becomes 40. So I'll just repeat for the bj, which is 200 old value minus its corresponding element in the key column, multiplied by corresponding element in the key row divided by the pivot element. So that will become 40, right? So you can see it becomes 200 now becomes 40, right? So once you do that, next step is you need to find out the value of z. So we know that t2 becomes y, so we substitute the coefficient here, which is 40. So this is m into 2 by 3 plus 40 into 3 by 5. So that's what is given here, the value of z. So m into 0 plus 40 into 1 is 40 here. So minus m plus 0 into 40, it is minus m. 2 by 3 m plus minus this value 1 by 24, I guess is minus 1 by 24 into 40, which is nothing but 2 by 3 m or something like that. Right? Then it is 1 into m plus 0 into 40, which is m, and minus 2 by 3 into m plus 40 into 0 is minus 2 by 3 m. Right? Then we will be subtracting Cj minus Z. 24 minus 23 1 by 3 plus 2 into 2 by 3 m, that is nothing but 2 by 3, which is this value, minus 2 into 2 by 3 m. So here you can see that m takes a negative value. So minus 2 by 3 of m. So m is the largest number, so we'll have a decimal value, right? So this is fine. And 40 minus 40 is 0, so we made this to be 0. Then 0 minus of minus m, which is plus m. So 0 minus 2 by 3 m is minus 2 by 3 m. So m minus m is 0. M minus of minus 2 by 3 m is m plus 2 by 3 m. Right. So let's take a look at the values. So like 2 by 3 minus 2 into 2 by 3 m, which is nothing but when you substitute m equals to 1000. So when you substitute m equals to 1000, you get the value of minus 2666. Then the 0 and m value is 1000. This is minus 666, then 0, and this is a positive value, 1666.667. So among this, the most least value or most negative value is minus 266. So that corresponds to the iteration 2. Since all Cij are not greater than equals to 0. So some of them are less than equals to 0. Among this, the most negative number is this. So that governs the key column, and that particular value gets the right hand side coefficient divided by that particular element in the key column will become the minimum ratio. So 40 divided by 2 into 2 by 3 is 15. Then 10 divided by 3 by 5 is 17, 1 by 7. So among this, the least positive number is 15. So that will become the key row. So that will become the key row. And once we find out the intersection of key column and key row, that's the pivot. So first step is making that pivot element to become 1. So divide that corresponding value in the entire row. So in this case is 2 into 2 by 3 divided by 2 into 2 by 3 is 1. 40 divided by 2 into 2 by 3 is 15. Right? So the entire row gets divided by that particular value. Then the next step is to find out the other element to become 0. So to make this to be 0, old value minus the old value equals to the new value equals to old value minus its corresponding key column, which is nothing but the same thing, multiplied by its corresponding key row, which is pivot element by itself, divided by the pivot element will give the value that to be 0. Right? And you repeat the process. I'll do it for this thing so you understand much better. So the existing value minus, that's the old value minus, is corresponding values in the key row multiplied by its corresponding value in the key column divided by the pivot element. So that's why it makes us to be 1. Right? So you repeat the process until Dj, which is 1 by 4. Right? Now we have got the value of x and y. X is 24, and the coefficient is 24, and y is 40, since we copy paste here. Right? So now what happens is we multiply 24 into 1 plus 0 into 40, which is 24. 0 into 24 plus 1 into 40 is 40. And you do the process for entire thing. Then you minus Cj with Z. So Cj is 24 minus 24 is 0. 40 minus 40 is 0. 0 minus of minus 1 by 4 is 1 by 4. 0 minus of minus 1 by 2 is 1 by 2. M minus 1 by 4. M minus 1 into 1 by 2. So that's just something. So we know that we need to see whether all the values of Cj minus Z are less than equals to I mean greater than equals to 0. I beg your pardon. This is for a minimization case. So all those values should be greater than equals to 0. So when we look into that, so when you substitute the value of m equals to 1000, so this is 1000 minus 1 1000 minus 1 by 4 and 1000 minus 1 1 by 2. So all these things are positive. So all the values are positive. We don't have anything called most negative number. hence the iteration gets stopped, right? So hence iteration gets stopped. So x equals to 15, which is nothing but x equals to 15, and y equals to 1 by 2. So in terms of decimal, it is 15 and 1.25, and z is the value of z is 24x and 40y. So 24 into 15 plus 40 into 1 by 4 plus 410, which is nothing but 410, right? So in terms of decimals or in terms of fractions, right? So this is the value for this minimization case using big M method, right? Right. So I also got problems here, like the mixed constraint. In a maximization case, we have got less than equals to the standard constraint, but in this case, we have got greater than equals to. So we will be having a artificial variable, and also in a mixed minimization case, we have got greater than equals to is a normal constraint, but we have got less than equals to another constraint. So it's a mixed constraint for a minimization case, and solve this, and you can get the value of here and the value here. So you can take a look at that. So I will be uploading this after this class in the Google Drive. So you can take a look at that and practice the algebraic table, right? So this comes to the end of today's lecture.